Some women are simply born rich, confident, and naturally magnetic to their desires. Let's be clear, this podcast is not for them. However, if you're a soul-driven, visionary, or entrepreneurial woman who's been on a mission to learn how to create a better future bursting to come out of you, welcome to my world. I'm Jo Warwick, and this is Rich, Sexy, and Free. I've dedicated most of my career to helping women get to their core power and unlock the missing pieces for their own unique success. You may already know me as the author of The Big Book of Love. With 30 years experience in psychology, embodiment, manifesting, and energetics, we will be exploring together the keys to becoming rich, sexy, and free. So if this excites you, don't forget to like and subscribe on your favorite platform so you can stay up to date with the podcast. Welcome to today's episode of Rich, Sexy and Free. And it's one of our special VIP guest sessions. Brianna Young and I met, we were just saying, about 18 months ago at an event. And I'm just so excited to have her here. Our work over the last 18 months has been sort of merging in ways that is quite exciting. So I'm looking forward to the conversation. Particularly, we will be focusing on wealth identity, on money, and that journey of expanding into your own rich, sexy, and free. So it's just so delightful to have you here. Please, could you introduce yourself to everybody?
Well, hello. Well, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm so incredibly honored. My name is Brianna Michelle Young. I am a business coach and I have been in the industry, now for 5 years. And I help women literally transform their lives, step into their personal power, and really own who they truly are, married with some kick-ass killer strategies on the back end. I am so excited to be here to chat with you and share with you and just share our message out to the world.
I'm excited because I know that on your journey, you started life with some struggles, but you always had this big dream inside of you. And a big part of that shifting to create something so successful as you have done. And I know that you created a very successful brand in the wedding industry first, and that's how you've moved into business coaching. But the overcoming and becoming of Brianna Michelle Young, who you are now, is really about that shift in the wealth identity. So I would love you to just share with us kind of what was the big shift moments for you of becoming the woman you dreamt about.
Yes. Okay. That is a big question. I'm just going to start with getting into entrepreneurship, I think, like at the very beginning stages and kind of work my way up from there. I think a lot of times when people like want to become entrepreneurs, they don't really understand the level of which you need to be investing, the level of which you need to heal your relationship with money and really understand how to heal the relationship with yourself and how all that threads into you being successful as an entrepreneur. And so becoming a business owner, I've been running a business now for 25 years. Like that tells my age a little bit, but I've been running a business for a very, very long time. And I was held back so much around my fears of worrying, am I going to have enough money? Like, oh, my business isn't making money right now. So, should I really be investing, and not really understanding that the way that you view and see money is really a self-reflection of your own identity.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would have known that so much sooner, it would have been such a rocky start. I think what really shifted for me, as you know, I worked in the wedding industry for 18, 19 years, running a wildly successful wedding hair and makeup business in Las Vegas. And that took me to a six-figure business, right? And then I started thinking, I think as most people who exchange time for money in entrepreneurship, they realize that, oh, I don't want to exchange time for money anymore. So then they kind of pivot into the online space and they're like, oh, I want to do coaching, consulting, like I want to sell passive income, digital products, all the things, do a podcast. And when I kind of started pivoting into that moment, I really didn't realize what I was getting into. And I didn't really realize how much depth of self transformation and really overcoming myself was going to reflect my success in this industry or not. And what that really looked like was healing my relationship with money, healing my relationship with myself, but really stepping into the identity of the woman who is completely fearless, that completely accepts every single piece of her, letting go of the shame, letting go of the, oh, like all the bad money decisions that I made in my younger adulthood that just kind of stays with you along the way. I tell my clients all the time, it's like the world is really set for not supporting entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
right? And as an entrepreneur, whether that be an online coach, like whatever it is that you're doing in the online space or any space for that matter, as an entrepreneur, you have to develop your own belief system in how money can actually support you. If you really truly want true freedom, true ultimate freedom. And I had to really look at that and dive deep into healing every little worry that I had around money. I really had to heal that. And once I started diving into shifting my identity and really understanding energetics and the law of attraction and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff to have that rich, sexy, and free life, that we all want, was when I had my first 50K month. Like it was when I was really starting to elevate my clients into their own success.
It's interesting. In the conversation that you were saying, I heard so much about this kind of overcoming the deepest fear of money. And so, would you mind sharing with us what one of your biggest fears was?
Yeah. One of the really big fears that I had, and I remember like literally staring and looking at my bank account like every day, like staring at it. This was like early on in my career into, I remember I would stare at it and I would look at my balance, my bank account, and I would look at my debt. And I just stared at it and stared at it for just a really long time. And processed all the thoughts that were coming up in my head. Like thoughts like, you should be ashamed of yourself for having all this debt. Look at your bank account. Like you work so hard, but like look at all of this debt and like you don't have hardly any money in your bank account. And like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Are you being irresponsible? Like, you can't be successful. Like, you don't even know how, like, you have debt. Like, you can't be successful. What do you know about business? Like, all these narratives in my head. And I had to really stop and be like, what are you really afraid? Like, what are you afraid of? And
Mhm.
I had to, the things that were really holding me back that I was afraid of was I was afraid of taking more responsibility. I was
Mhm.
afraid I wasn't going to be able to handle more responsibility. I think that's a big sneaky one. I think that a lot of people don't recognize. It's like a sneaky sabotage that like tends to come up. And I was afraid that when I had money that I was going to be irresponsible with the money. Like I wasn't going to be able to hold the money.
Yeah.
And that actually became my reality. Like I actually really skyrocketed very in the early stages of my coaching business and had a 90K month and couldn't hold it.
Yeah.
It was couldn't hold it. And I always say it's like, was the biggest blessing, biggest hard thing to
Mhm.
see and admit, but also it was the biggest blessing because then it really forced me to go back and be like, okay, you haven't really healed your relationship with money yet. This is a journey.
Yeah.
This is a journey. And you need to go back to the drawing board and keep and dive deeper. I think we think we have it all figured out, but it's really a journey.
Oh, yes. I would definitely say I've had that repetitive slap in the face of reminding me. But I also know my journey is definitely so I can teach this. But it was the interesting thing, what I'm hearing in everything you're saying is the teenage psychological phase of, I haven't got the skill set to do this. I don't know how to do this. I had nobody to teach me how to drive the car of money in the way that I'm doing it. And as you said, we create what we believe. And when you think, oh my God, I can't handle it, I'm going to get rid of it. Well, you wouldn't be alone. I mean, how many people win the lottery or create vast amounts of money and get rid of it super fast? My fear was always about losing money, and it had nothing to do with money. It, like most things, has nothing to do with money ever.
Right, right.
But was always the fear of losing money, because I moved so much as a kid. I have a thing about losing and being done to me. And so I would lose money. I would create vast amounts of money and then lose it. Basically over and over again. And but it got me to this point of going, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it was a wound for me. It was an infant wound. It was a, I'm not safe. But when we have
Mhm.
these kind of like, oh, either early stages or teenage stages, or it's, we repeat them. And I, as you said at the beginning, I think that thing about being an entrepreneur, when you're an entrepreneur, it's an opportunity to mature psychologically, beyond the I'm holding onto a job so that I'm being fed in some way by the breastfed kind of idea, with I'm safe in a kind of container, whereas I have to really step into my adulthood, my maturity, and then become somebody I want to be. And as you said, this was the journey.
Yeah, yeah, and going back to what you say, like the deepest, biggest wound, yeah, it was a safety. It was a safety thing. Like
Yeah.
I didn't feel safe. And it's like I had to really find safety within
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. And what methods helped you to step away from looking at money as the thing to make you safe, but instead become safe in your own body vehicle that you're in?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. It's a really I honestly I think it's a lot of different things. I
Mm,
think that I had to number 1 really own my power and see what I've done and what I've created. I
yeah.
think naturally as humans, we tend to look at everything like always chasing. Like I was always living in the hustle, always chasing like that next thing because it was just like I wanted more, more, more. I was looking at my life as the glass empty and not as the glass full.
Yeah.
So when I started really shifting that mindset principle and started really looking at, oh, wait, no, you have this glass half full. Like, look at what you've built, look around you, look at your lifestyle. How can you not say that you haven't built some sort of like safety and stability?
Mhm.
So I had to first start looking at my life as full and abundant,
Mhm.
but I think I also had to create some tangible practices like knowing that my bank account needed to always be at a certain level
Mhm.
and knowing that if that meant that I needed to wait on certain expenses or certain purchases because I knew it was going to create an unregulated nervous system for me if I allowed my bank account number to go below. It was going to hyperventilate my nervous system.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like really like knowing yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to take back my power. I'm going to own myself. I'm going to look at myself, see all the amazing things I have done, look at my success stories, see the people that I've helped, see the movement, and really understand that this is my movement, my passion, and my purpose. There's no way that God, the universe, whatever you believe in, is going to fail me when I'm living in my purpose, when I'm living in my passion. And so that was a shift too that helped. Really detaching from like external validation with
Mhm.
things. That was a really huge shift for me that happened last year
Mhm.
where I think we get caught up so much in this industry of have the flashy things and oh the cars and the bags and the
Mhm.
fancy photo shoots and it's no that's not what that's not what's going to drive your business. It's connection. And so I let go of all the things that I was
Mhm.
utilizing that made me feel successful with money,
Mhm.
specifically with money, and started taking more walks barefoot in the grass.
Lovely.
And there's something so special about those like micro moments
Mhm.
of feeling grateful and abundant without going out and buying a bag or going on a trip. Like, just you feel the gratitude just by walking barefoot in the grass. And it's like those were things that really helped shift me, allowing me to feel more safe in what I've built, what I'm doing, and like who I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so interesting because this isn't new to just our industry. This is the psychological development of everybody in money, but I think it gets heightened in, particularly online. The Emperor's New Clothes is the ultimate parable story of
Right.
obsessed with what's outside of you, but that look in that seeking for safety. But it's that I love Rudyard Kipling's poem If, and the whole point of that is the poem is always about, if you, simply put, if you can be yourself no matter what the success or the failure, no matter what is going on, that is adulthood, that is maturity, that is that space of discernment, isn't it, of going, I don't really need that. Why am I getting that? Or do I want to get that and I'm going to get that later? And I think that's such a wonderful space, isn't it? And when you do recognize it's not something of, as I say this a lot, there is no point having money if you don't have freedom. And freedom comes, exactly as you said, from sitting, walking barefooted and enjoying the day. And I was laughing because on this call, so this is such an example of rich, sexy, and free. So I have a cup of tea and a champagne glass, but not one of them has alcohol in it. So I am drinking tonic water out of a champagne glass because I am an absolute snob about glasses. And as you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll laugh. But my cup of tea glass is in a designer cup that a friend bought for me. And it's exquisite, like it's Japanese stuff. And I always think that's such a kind of example of, you can elevate the things that are day to day to have that feeling of, whether it's walking barefoot on the grass, me, it's sitting out on my patio and flowers, or going for a wild swim. Those day to day things are what most people think they're striving for. And if you can align that and step into the wealth identity that, if I had that, then I can also then heal that relationship. And I think so much of the journey for a lot of people is trying to get to that place of safety so that they can let go. But I think there's a really important stage that I'd love to explore with you. Since finding yourself in that adulthood, that healing of, I don't need the validation that I was seeking as a teenager, and I don't need to feel safe that I was seeking as an infant, I can now have this place of playfulness in my business. So now that you're in this space of being able to be playful and wilder and freer, because I truly believe that is the evolution of where we finally get to embody our own inner goddess. And as you say, live your passion and purpose. What makes it different in your life now? Maybe that it's reflected in the money, but also in the way that you live in that full experience. Now it's beyond the seeking safety and the things that used to make it validating.
Yes. So how does it affect like how I live? I'm going to tell you what I experience like day
Mhm.
to day.
Yeah.
So it's like content feels fun.
Yeah.
I feel excited how I live day to day. Like I'm in constant flow. I
Mm.
think it's trusting, like I'm living in pure flow and pure trust,
Mm.
pure self trust and pure flow. So if there's any part of my day that feels somewhat resistant, I am literally going outside my door and going for a walk. I'm
Yeah.
going and putting my feet in the grass. I'm
I do
there
that.
is a there is a my day, it's like honestly, like how does it affect day to day? It's just like flowy. It's just like
Mhm.
more flowy, like it's more fun. Like I'm not feeling like I have to sit at my desk all day. Like I move around my house a lot. Like I'm deepening my relationships with my clients. Like that has really shifted. Deepening my relationship with my clients, because I'm deepening the relationship with myself in how I'm leading. I wake up earlier, like I feel more energized. It's playful. It's a playful energy where you're just creating all day. It's just creating all day. And yeah, there's some days where like I will work 10 hours a day or 10 hours a day. There's some days where I will do that if I'm in flow or I'm working on a project that I want to get out. And then there's some days where I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to post my content today and I'm going to spend the rest of my day at the beach
Yeah.
and just feeling free.
Yeah.
Like that's really like the best way to describe it. It's everything that you've always learned, like in your coaching classes or whatever, of like, how do you really feel free? Feel the feeling. Like I'm actually finally being able to feel that feeling now. I get it now. Feel the feeling. And it's like the most beautiful, magical place possible.
Absolutely. It is a place and a state of, I always think of it, trying to describe it like riding a surfboard or riding down a river. It is a spiritual concept. It really is that surrendering flow, but it comes from within you. And that's the thing people misunderstand. They think it's something outside of you, but it is that. And I love the way you described it. It's so true. I have those days where I can be like last week. Oh my God, I was downloading something, I was creating something, and it wasn't hard. Like it was like boom, 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 boom. And what I was creating was the money map, the feminine wealth evolution guide. And there's like eight transmissions in there, 15-page guide, assessment. It's a whole program in its right. And I literally was like, boom, not even 48 hours, I think. And it just downloaded and I just worked, but it wasn't work. I was playing, I was creating, I was with the universe. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I just wanted to download in a pure sense of, but then as soon as that was done, I was like, oh, my little projector body is now going, right, we need to do something else. I need to go and step away and minimalize.
I catch myself the same. And I'm a projector too.
I was going to say, what are you? Yeah.
I'm a projector too. I have to have space.
Yeah.
Massive space in my day. I'm overwhelmed, like I can't breathe. I really had to outs is like the scrolling on social media, like not good for my energy at all. But yeah, I 100% agree with you.
I'm curious because I know that you have been diagnosed with ADD as a kid, but now that you know a bit more about being a projector, and has that been liberating for you to recognize that maybe something you've been diagnosed with wasn't actually, have you held on to that label or given it permission to go, actually, it was something that somebody else told me I didn't fit in?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. So here's the truth to that story. So I technically wasn't diagnosed. I was like on the border. I was like on the border, and I was on the border of that too with dyslexia.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all the symptoms, but I guess all the criteria, like I wasn't checking off all the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I've come to understand about myself is fully accepting all of that and just be like, this is who I am. Like there's so many women out there that have the same things, or that say, wait, I just lost my train of thought. Just like how I always say between words. I always say like in between words, and just owning that and being like, this is who I am. And I think so many times we look at those labels, whether or not we were on the border or whether we are diagnosed, we tend to sometimes look at those as, this is my crutch, but it's really those things that are actually going to attract more people into your world, because they see, oh, she's just owning who she is. Like she says like all the time. She says all the time in between her words. She will talk and lose her train of thought. She might pause, and it's just like accepting who you are and just knowing like imperfect is actually perfect, because that's what people want.
Absolutely. I I am quite strong. I have a very, I should try to say it clearly. I have a very strong opinion about, and I always have, about anywhere anybody gets labeled medically, particularly because of the foundation of the work that I've done, but and also what I know energetically and what I know, and what I'm talking about is psychologically, not so much not to do with your body. But when we give people these labels, again, it's another way of going, oh, I'm sorry, you're just not like us. But it's amazing
Right.
people who are over there, which is like that lovely Dr. Zeus thing of the guys with with the stars on their bellies and the ones who are not. And it's like going, but we all want the stars and vice versa. And I think human design is a wonderful way to accept, and it's another way or permission slip of understanding that you were designed perfectly for you and your success. And for me, I think maybe the knowledge that I've always known as a projector anyway, or as the way I am designed, is that for me, I just think we're all circuitry and we're designed perfectly for that circuitry to grow, just like the flowers in the garden. And the weird thing is, as a gardener, and which I love, I don't try and control my flowers ever. So I'm like, let's nurture you and love you and do all of that. And I'm always like, they grow perfectly. Leaves grow out at one side, and there's a flower at this, and then some things drop off and die. It's really important to let things fall away of identities. And I think that journey, isn't it? What we were talking about at the beginning, very much about the identity shifts that you have to go on, the maturity of becoming an entrepreneur is so much of those shedding of identity somebody else said you had to be, because the only way you can have success, I think, as an entrepreneur, is you've got to know who the fuck you are. Like 150%, and let all the other voices go. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's actually interesting when I heard about human design and I found out that I was a projector.
Mm.
I was like so relieved.
Yeah,
I was so relieved because I was trying to do all the
yeah,
things and I was like thinking, "Oh, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. I can't." And then I was, "Oh, okay, I get it now. This is how I was made. I was made to be working like this."
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's yeah, I think there's so much conditioning, society conditioning that you're exactly right. If you have to know who you are 150%.
Yeah. I'm having a love affair with Moana at the moment. I've just watched the second film. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it to everybody. But the whole theme of those films is it comes from that very ancestral idea of know who you are. And every song is about know your name, know who you are. And I think that's something we've lost in our Western society of know who you are, not who your parents thought you should be. Or because I think we all have a voice inside of us that's very deeply says, I know who I am. I always have known who I am. And particularly, I think maybe it's different if you're a projector, maybe it's different if you're a manifesting generator or whatever. But I think I know that we've all got inside of us a voice, a soul, whatever you want to call it, a divine spark, the part of you that if you actually listened, that has told you over and over and over in your life where you've gone off onto something and gone, no, that's not good. And you've gone, I'll ignore you. Or gone towards something and gone, oh, I was so right. But I think when we listen to that and fully embody and accept that, this is who I am. I'm not better than you. I'm just me. I'm just the way I'm designed. And that beautiful way of what you can add to the world because of becoming you is what lights you up. I think we don't talk about people's partners enough. And I saw recently lots of lovely videos about people going, I'm an independent woman and I don't need anybody. And then lots of, here's my nobody, the man who's behind me actually helping doing this and this. So, how does your husband support you in this whole life experience of you showing up as you?
Yeah, do you know what's really interesting? It's a really interesting concept. So I manifested my husband.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that, but I did manifest my husband back in 2015 was when we met. We've been married now for we're going to be together for 10 years, married for 7 this July. And he has always been like my biggest cheerleader. He just lets me do my thing. He is I think he's a generator.
Mhm.
He might be a manifesting generator or a generator. I can't remember, but he is a Taurus,
Mhm.
and he and I'm a Pisces. We're incredibly compatible. We gel really well together. He is just super supportive, lets me do my own thing. Like, he's my earth. He is
Mhm.
like the earth to my water. He just grounds me and makes me feel safe and is just there. I couldn't have the most supportive and loving husband ever. Like, he's absolutely amazing.
Do you think that helps for success?
Let me tell you, yes and no.
Mhm.
So I would say that it helped me with my success when we first met, because when we first met in 2015, I was trying to get my bridal business off the ground, working in my other business, really trying to scale that business to the next level. So when he met me, I was broke and poor and struggling, and he was a wildly successful banker. And I remember we had just started dating. We were set up on a blind date from a
Mhm.
mutual friend. We would have never picked each other. Like, he would have picked the petite, skinny blonde, and I
Yeah.
would have picked like the tall, dark European. Um, and he's like a sports guy. I'm like, I don't know anything about sports. So we would have never picked each other, but we were set up on a blind date, and we started dating, and we were dating long distance. He lived in Chicago at the time. I was in Vegas. We were flying back and forth, and we had that conversation, that walk and that conversation of like, where is this going? And he's this like very successful banker, and I'm like broke, like living in this tiny apartment, like trying to get my business off the ground. And have you thought about real estate? And I
Mhm.
was like, nope. Like, we're not doing real estate. Like, this is who I am. Like, this is
Yeah.
what I'm doing. Like, I know I can be successful at this. And he was like, okay. But it was like that moment I knew like I had to up level to
Mhm.
his level, because he's like being like, is she going to be a success or not?
Yeah.
So he helped me. He helped me when maybe I wasn't really fully, truly seeing my power and seeing myself,
Yeah.
and he supported me in helping me step up to the plate. When we eventually moved in together, and he was like, I'm going to handle most of the bills. Like, you just build your business. Right. And I built my business. And then COVID came, and he retired, got laid off, whatever you want to call it. And I'm the breadwinner now. Like, success story now. Like, I'm the sole breadwinner for our household. So, yes, I 100%, to answer your question, like, yes, I think it does help you with success to have a strong partner. But what makes us work is that our values are the same, our standards are the same. And he helped me really elevate my standards. Like, our values were always the same.
Mhm.
You help each other see different standards and elevating those standards to become successful. So I
Absolutely.
think, yeah.
I really like that. I just think that's a really good point from where we started of this elevating your wealth identity. Not everybody will be able to do it through a partner, but that is the point of working with other people, male, female coaches, to help someone understand that they have to step up. And I think that's where it's a letdown when you don't work with somebody who's either had the success or knows the thing or knows what they do. I call my clients out all the time. I am not the softest softest person, because that's what they pay me for, is to like go, stop behaving like you're in teenage mode or you're in a child mode. You're behaving whiny. You're so ungrateful. What is going on? Calling somebody out is what the purpose is of somebody going, come on, I can see your real value. I can see you. But then I also know my own journey doing even the podcast, the amazing women that I've had on this podcast, and being seen by other people as I've expanded my world, and how other people describe me. It's so interesting to see yourself through other people's. Now, of course, it's not about external validation, but it is important if you get a wide selection. I always think it's, oh, get a wide selection. And if I like what I like, great. If I don't, if I don't. If it doesn't resonate with me, then that's fine too. But yeah, I think it's so important to have that reflection, what you were talking about, and being made to step up. That decision is in every relationship, isn't it? Of going, are you going to step up with me? Because people who want you to settle, people who want you to stay small, get rid of them. They're not healthy in your world. Find a loving place. And if it's family, find a loving place. You don't have to get rid of them. But I think that it's,
Yeah.
but if you're going to have relationships, isn't that discernment again, isn't it? About coming back to that success. How do you help your clients to be seen and to step up for themselves?
Yeah. Yeah, I help them become the standard. So I
Yeah.
help them literally become the sold out standard. It's a framework and process that I help my clients do
Yeah.
through literally unlocking all the parts and the pieces of them that they think why they don't think are going to be successful,
Mm-hmm.
such as, oh, I'm poor at money, I'm poor at managing money, so like how can I run a business? This is just an example
Yeah. Yeah.
of something, and how to turn that actually into your superpower,
Yeah.
because that is innately your superpower. Because when you can actually speak your truth and talk about those things, that's when your content becomes potent. That's when
Yeah.
your messaging starts connecting soul to soul. So it's through that process of literally activating your power and owning really your truth and seeing yourself as that person, as her, as being in an arena. There is nothing different from you than the multiple $1 million coach that you hired. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing different. The only difference is that she just chose to fully step into her power.
It can be so irritating, can't it? Like when you see people and you're like, and I have come across some of these women and gone, but your work's pretty shit. Actually, bought stuff and hired stuff and thought, excuse me, the work that I do is way better. But then I've gone, but this woman is owning her ass. Like she is owning herself. And it's that I think is so activating because it's like this woman is unapologetic. And I think anyone who can be unapologetic and have absolute belief without maybe being completely a dick, like being an egotistical dick. But if you can do that, if you can really embody that, yay, yay, because it's another woman, I think, stepping up and doing that and showing the way. And as you've talked about today, it's like going, I did it in this way, which I really like about your story. You know, it's like I got my success doing it this way, but then realized actually I need to learn a different way. I need to be me. I need to soften. I need to have what I'm actually looking for is not external validation and working really, really hard to be something, but be myself. And as you said, being able to deepen. So, what would you say is the greatest success now for you?
I would say being able to deepen and take this information to help my clients even grow further and deeper. I know it sounds really cliche, but there is nothing. My success is how I transform and help my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Like that has been something that when I got into this business, that was something that was always on the forefront of why I wanted to do this. It's like I am only as good of a coach and a leader is seeing my clients succeed, whether that's huge wins and monetary things, or monetary wins, or whether that's small wins in their mental development and their emotional intelligence. That has always been in my forefront.
Yeah,
And that has really, I think, catapulted and supported my success.
absolutely. And with that in mind, could you tell us where everybody can find you?
Yes, they can find me at the Brianna Michelle _.
And is that on Instagram or is that on Facebook or
Instagram. It's on Instagram.
on any of the podcast platforms? The links and details are inside the show notes. So, once again, it's been wonderful to connect with you. Thank you so much, Brianna, for being here. It's been a lovely conversation.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. And I will see everybody next week on the podcast. It's been great to connect with you today. But before you leave, If you want to find out more about how I can help you personally, or check out any of my books, products, or coaching packages, just simply go ahead and visit richsexyandfree.com. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the podcast.